What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Behind the Smoke. I am your co-host, Adamo.
And I'm Boris. And today we have with us a very special guest, Mike Varga, 19-year firefighter, recently promoted to lieutenant, part of the heavy rescue team. He's also involved with the recruitment outreach team as well. Mike appeared on Food Network's Chop Canada, where he became the Chop champ. After that, Mike auditioned and appeared on MasterChef Canada, where he finished as a finalist. He used to be part of the Fire in Your Kitchen team for 18 years, a charitable event in which firefighters create a high-end catered evening for guests in their homes. All the proceeds raised from these events benefit the charitable society and its programs.
Welcome. Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Quite the intro. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to talk about Chopped and MasterChef and all that stuff. We'll get into that. But But to start off, so what made you become a firefighter?
You know, there's like that cliche, like I wanted to help people, and you want to be part of something that's bigger than you. You know, I always wanted to be a firefighter. It was something that was always on the back burner, like going through high school and into college. It was just something that I thought, you know, I wanted to do. When I look back at it, like this is just now going forward in time, right? I see my kids, and my son now wears, like he wears my firefighting t-shirts. He wears my number 2 hall shirt to the gym all the time, right? Like
Nice,
he reps it. He wears it to school. My daughter has a firefighter hoodie. She's like, Dad, I want to get a hoodie. So like looking at it in the future, I'm seeing my kids and how like proud they are of what I do.
Yeah.
And how much they you know, they want to wear the gear. They want to, you know, they want the stuff that I'm wearing. And I look at that and think like, that's pretty cool.
That is, man. That's awesome.
To see that, right? And just to, you know, my son, he wears the firefighting shirts to, you know, to kickboxing, to rugby practice, right? Like it's you know, it's just awesome. It's like really proud to see.
Dude, that's such a wholesome answer, man, because I love that. Like, I'm having a kid due in July, and like I'm so excited for it, and all the stuff that you're saying right now, I'm like, I hope my kid is like proud of me like that too, you know?
It's wild.
It's one of those jobs that not a lot of parents do, right? So, you know, you're out there in the community helping people, truly making a difference in people's lives, right? Like what an awesome thing for your kids to look up to and idolize.
Yeah, I'm so appreciative of it and so humbled by it. And I know my son, I took him to the grade 9 take your kid to work day, and it just blew his mind what the fire department put on for him, and like what a recruitment and outreach team put on for all these grade 9 kids. That after it, he's just like, Dad, I want to be a firefighter.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
It's funny because we have I'm in the dad groups now, and so talking to some of the other dads, and they say, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm bringing my son to the fire department tomorrow, and we're doing like all this, you know, all these cool events. And one of the dads says, hey, you know, do you want to bring my daughter? Can she come with you instead of coming to my office? Because all she's getting are clients yelling at me about getting the deadlines done.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome, dude.
That's on having a kid, man.
Thanks,
that's
buddy.
Great.
Yeah, Boris is having one too.
Yeah.
We're having them separately. We're not having them together.
Yeah, we have to clarify this every time.
Yeah.
A week apart.
So. Yeah. So his wife is a week ahead of my wife? Or is it the other way? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think you're a week ahead of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool. We're kind of like going to be in the same stage of life together, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Has anyone told you have a very sexy voice?
National Geographic, if you're out there, I need to narrate something.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I could totally see that.
Dub it over all our stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We're just gonna write a script for you, and you're gonna run the podcast from now on.
Yeah, in a whirl.
So, how did you become so passionate about cooking? Because you're self-taught, is that correct?
Yeah.
So you didn't go to school to become a chef or anything like that?
No, not at all.
Amazing.
That's unreal, dude.
It goes back to like sort of my dad is self-taught. I learned from him. He had to learn how to cook out of necessity. He left Hungary in 1956, escaped the country. He was 16 years old. So now him and just a friend, they left. So now they're, you know, navigating Europe. and he had to get by. So he like taught himself how to cook, went to go work in kitchens, and so I had watched him cook growing up. I'd watch him cook and see what he was doing, and that sparked my passion for it.
That's cool,
Yeah,
man.
just you know, just watching, you watch your Nona in the kitchen,
Totally, yeah.
making your
Homemade pasta, yeah.
sauce and stuff like that, and it was like that for me, right? It was just watching my dad cook, and it just resonated with me.
Did he make a mean goulash?
He did.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I wish I had some of the recipes that he had before he passed away, and he never had anything written down. So I'd say, hey Dad, how do I know when this is done? How do I know when this dish is ready? He says, well, it's ready when it tastes good.
Yeah.
It's like, oh fuck, thanks. I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how I grew up, and then it just, you hit the fire department, and it's such a huge part of our culture.
Totally. Yeah.
So it just ignited the passion.
Yeah.
More.
It's cool with the fire hall too, because like you said, it's such a huge part of our culture. But growing up with like a big Italian family, like that was one of the things I really liked about the fire hall. Was it kind of reminded me of that like Sunday dinner with my family where we all sit down and everyone's shooting the shit and like we're all bonding over a delicious meal, right? And I think it's good for like camaraderie, for mental health, for building teamwork together, right? Like it's such an important part that a lot of people I don't know are really aware of, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, some departments aren't as lucky as ours, where we do eat with the crew, right? Some bring their own lunches, and like you said, I feel like it's such a big bond, right?
It is, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like, to what you're saying, right? You sit down, it reminds you of the family dinner.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That Sunday dinner kind of thing. And it's the way I look at it. It's like regardless of what we go to, we're heavy rescue, right? So, and you're a hazmat guy.
Boring.
Yeah. Every pot has a lid. So,
200 IQ for this stuff.
Yeah.
So it says regardless of what we go to in the course of a shift, right? Like a hazmat call, a heavy rescue call, fires, alarms, medicals, you name it. The one thing that is always a constant is we have a meal together.
Yeah.
Right? Like we cook together, we eat together, and we have that camaraderie, that bond where we do get to shoot the shit and talk about stories from past, about guys that have retired and things that this guy did and that guy did, and calls we've been on. And it is kind of, we were talking about that mental health episode you had. It's a way of like diffusing as well, right?
Totally. There's something therapeutic about it.
Yeah, totally. And it's and like you said, it is like a family, and like all families, it's dysfunctional.
Oh, of course.
At times.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always that Uncle Eddie.
Yeah,
like National Lampoons. Right? There's always the guy there, and if you don't know who the weird Uncle Eddie is,
it's probably
you. It's probably you.
Oh my God! Yeah, I just had a realization.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of people going just, whoa. Yeah. So it can't be.
Yeah. So how did you? Because I feel like cooking is actually something that can be very complicated, right? Especially like for you, like this kind of stuff that you make. Like we follow you on Instagram, and we're like, God damn, like these are like, you make it seem so easy, but like from somebody who didn't have any training in it and just kind of idolizing your dad and his ability to cook. How did you get to a level where all of a sudden you're on like Master Chef and Chopped and all this kind of stuff?
Oh, so many like guys and gals, like fire department, like firefighters, they want to buy golf clubs or rifles or fishing rods or what's that? What are we playing?
Pickleball,
rackets or whatever, right?
Guilty.
Yeah, right. And I wanted to buy a chef's knife, right?
Yeah.
So that was I just it started as like just really wanting to learn.
Yeah.
And really just wanting to immerse myself in it, really enjoying it, and it was therapeutic for me too.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of happened where I just wanted to learn more and more.
Nice.
About it. So just trial and error at home.
Yeah.
Using my wife as a guinea pig. Or like, hey, do you want to try this? And even at the fire hall, you get a little bit of a free reign to sort of to step out and try some things. So there weren't really any roadblocks or barriers to say no, don't try this or don't do that. And like everything, the more you do it, the better it gets.
Totally.
And I will be remiss if I don't say that it's because of guys and gals that are in the fire halls too that love it as well, that you can collaborate with.
Totally.
Like I can't say that, like I make a dish and then have a guy, like guys like you, or like I can name a ton of guys that I've worked with along the way that have been like, hey, you want to, like, why don't we try adding this or adding that? And like a lot of them are collabs, and you build and you build, and you know what, and that's what it is in the fire hall, right? It's teamwork. You're not cooking a meal by yourself in the fire hall.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like there's always a handful of you, right? So it's and then the Chopped was random.
Yeah,
very random. I think my wife was filling out. Sure, first she was like, "You got to try, you got to do it," and I'm like, "No, not a chance. Why I don't want to do that."
Yeah.
And she's like, "I'm gonna fill out the application online." So she's going. I'm like, "Okay, well, at least let me do it." I don't know. I think you're probably like scarred a little bit from firefighters, and you don't know. Like they're just putting in like like Michelin star chef, and like I gotta see what you're putting in there, right? So I ended up just filling it out. In worst case, like we're having this conversation, and she says, "Worst case, they say no."
Yeah.
Right. Sure. So there, and then it just like got an audition, and
So what was the audition like? So you go in there, and did you have to cook something for them?
You just have a dead lamb in front of you.
Yeah.
You work with this.
Figure it out.
Yeah. It's that. Oh man, like the audition for that was. I just remember going to a hotel in Vancouver, and they had a bunch of casting directors and story producers and stuff there, and they were just interviewing, and I don't believe I actually cooked anything for that audition. For MasterChef I had to, but for Chopped, it was a while ago. I don't know.
They just heard your voice and they're like, oh yeah, let's get this guy on for sure.
Yeah, I'm getting old. I don't remember, but I think maybe I'm trying to block a little bit out because it was stressful.
Yeah,
for sure, it was stressful.
Yeah.
How many people were there? Do you remember?
Ooh, it was over a couple days, I think. So it was definitely, and it was across Canada.
Oh wow!
So it wasn't just. So they were auditioning in Calgary, Toronto, Montreal, and stuff. So they took 4. So there were a couple guys from Vancouver, guy from Fort Mac, and another guy from Toronto. So
nice.
So they like scoured the country.
So how many of you guys were there total?
4. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how long were you guys filming for?
Chopped is a 1-day thing. I flew in on a Monday.
Okay.
Filmed all day Tuesday, and then you sort of you stay on set for as long as you're in the competition. So I was there like 6 a.m. and got back to the hotel at like midnight.
Oh my God, dude.
Long days.
And holy smokes, how many meals did you cook in that time?
3.
Wow.
3. There's a lot of hurry up and wait.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
But it's not like you're just cooking like a basic meal. It's like those are 3 meals that you need to really wow the judges with, right? And like really impress them, so that way you move on to the next phase, right?
Yeah. We use the term wow loosely.
Yeah.
Here. It's so for people that aren't familiar with like the Chopped, it's you get a basket with mystery ingredients and they're unrelated. So in the first basket, and it is very, like, I get this question sometimes, like, hey, did you see the ingredients beforehand? Like, you must have had an idea, and you don't. It's very much like you open the basket, and the only time you have to think about what you want to make before the clock starts is when they say open the basket. You have a can of Chef Boyardee and like whatever, right? And then
random stuff.
Yeah, right. And then once they say the last item, the clock starts ticking down, right? So you have 20 minutes to make your appetizer. And I remember having like a banana muffin mix and smoked mussels, like with the other ingredients that were in there. And I'm just looking at it going like, what the fuck? And I'm reading the bag of banana muffin mix because I'm like, okay, well, like how do I what's the ratio for this thing? And I remember staring at it, and it might as well have been in Greek, right? Because I'm just, I'm sweating more.
Totally.
Just, I can just feel like the beads of sweat coming out of my armpits.
Yeah.
It's like, and my forehead. And then I look up the clock and I see like 17 minutes and, like 32 seconds. I'm just like, I've been staring at this for 2 minutes. I better get moving here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you end up making?
I ended up trying to alter the flavor of the muffin mix. Like, so adding like smoked paprika and cumin and like a bunch of that profile, and then chopping up the mussels and adding them in and making like a waffle out of it. And then turning it's like spicy green beans, like the ones you would get in Caesar.
Yeah.
And some limes, and then made like an apple and green bean kind of slaw salad, like to go on salsa to go on top with like a vinaigrette made out of the limes.
Damn.
And it was, I mean, I don't know, you're kind of looking impressed right now.
I'm very impressed.
Believe me, I don't know how I got out of that. I'm just looking at him like, who does this?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. That's crazy because like all those ingredients are so like opposite of each other. Like, I don't even know how you even came up with what you wanted to make. Like, it's just unbelievable.
If you're a probationer listening to this, don't alter your muffin recipe. Just stick to like blueberries, bananas.
Yeah. Don't put smoked mussels in your muffin recipe.
Absolutely don't do that
unless you're Mike Varga, because then you can make it work.
There you go.
So you won Chopped, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then how'd you get on MasterChef? What was the time difference in between? Like, how long before you went on MasterChef after doing Chopped?
MasterChef was a couple years later. Okay. So I think 2 years after. And I got a phone call from one of the producers just saying, hey, we're auditioning for a season of MasterChef. We'd like you to apply. So nice. I think there were people that were working on Chopped at the time that, saw me, took note, whatever, and just thought I might be able to fill a contestant spot.
Okay.
The scouts.
Yeah. Right. So I just went for the audition. I was like, yeah, sure. Let's give it a try.
Nice. And so for that audition, you had to cook something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what'd you make?
So you had to make something beforehand and bring it in. Like there was, because you're in like a hotel, like conference room, right?
Right.
So you don't actually have stove or a hot plate or anything. So you kind of have to like prep everything and then piece it together.
Right.
When you're there. So I did, I did like, at that time was sort of my main, or sort of what I love to cook, were like the Middle Eastern, Mediterranean, like Moroccan style dishes that I've sort of like come to do a lot in the fire halls.
Yeah.
And so I was sort of in the peak of me like learning how to do that. So I did these, I did like a Moroccan braised short rib taco with like beet hummus and like a halloumi salsa and
nice.
So, and I got there and I saw like there's some serious competitors there, like plating with like tweezers and this and that. And I'm just like, yo, here are your tacos. And, so I just, and I said in the audition, I just said, well, I guess if I'm gonna make you a taco, it better be one you've never had before. So,
nice, man.
Yeah. Good strategy.
And that obviously worked because then you were chosen to be on the show, right?
Yeah. That was quite a time.
How long was that show that you were on?
That films over about 6 weeks.
Okay, so that's a long one.
Yeah, like that's like you're gone. You're gone from home for quite a while, and so I was there for about 3 weeks.
Okay,
and
nice.
And then shown the parking lot. They're just like, thanks for coming.
Yeah. What was the final thing that it came down to?
Oh, it was a salmon. Oh God, I can't even remember. Like, think about like a Wellington.
Okay, yeah.
But it was like but it was made with salmon. Was like a Russian dish. Like, I will absolutely butcher the name right now if I say like a salmon something, but it was a puff pastry with salmon and stuff. So if you think about almost like a Wellington, similar.
We'll call it a salmon Wellington.
Sure.
Yeah. I'll try it next shift.
Yeah.
It's hard. Don't
Don't do it.
don't do it.
Dude, if this guy can do it, you can definitely not do it.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? Right? Poison 8 guys.
Yeah.
On MasterChef, do they tell you like what you're expected to make kind of thing, or like is it just like go here's a list of groceries you can grab, like go do that, or like how does that work?
No, it's they have like their different challenges, their different games, and they're we're not privy to what is coming up next.
Right.
So like for instance, I had like one challenge where it was like I think it was like a credit card challenge where you were able to spend like a lot of money, or you're not, like you were balling on a budget kind of thing, right? So whoever had won the previous challenge got to give out the big wallet or the like the little wallet they wanted, right?
Yeah.
And then so you had people and then you go into their fake grocery store and you're like, okay, well I can't buy this, like I can't buy caviar, that's like more than. So you get those kind of challenges, and it's interesting to see that like who does what with the amount of money they have, and and then it's just you just like just go off sort of creativity and.
Nice. It's like it's kind of almost an art form, right? Like, I mean, it is an art form. Like it's like even just like the way that you like plate the meals and stuff like that, right? Like the presentation and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean that comes with a lot of practice, and I think after MasterChef, I had met a few people on that show, and a couple of them I became pretty tight with.
Yeah.
And my one buddy Eugene, him and I did a lot of work together after.
Nice.
Doing private events and things like that, and I learned a ton about plating from him. He's probably like the best plater I've ever seen.
Really.
And so it was just nice to pick up tips and tricks for people. I mean, but before that, it was like I said, I'm just, here you go, here's your firefighter, and like, oh, I'm gonna plate this nicely. Here's a little piece of basil on top.
Yeah. Classic. Just.
So I remember in Chopped in the second round, one of the judges, Susur Lee, who's like massive, like well-known chef, like in Canada and like worldwide. He tried my dish, and it was like a duck dish, and I made like flatbread and like did a whole bunch of like crazy stuff, and just out of like stress and not, I didn't want to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
And then he says, Mike, says, if I close my eyes, this is the perfect bite. He says, but when I look at your plate, you have a lot to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, I'm like, oh, that stings, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like, like part of the process is like learning, right?
Yeah.
It's such a firefighter mentality, though. You have a skill that you want to get better on, and then you just drill, and get better at it until you're at that level. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And then there's always somebody out there that can do it better than you, or that has another idea, right? So to be open to that and to collaborating, right? Like it just makes you that much better.
There's a firefighter, I want to say in New York or something, that I follow on Instagram, who's like a big
AJ?
cook. Yeah.
AJ? Yeah.
He makes some pretty cool stuff, looks like. So, do you know him?
I do.
Nice.
Yeah, I do. I remember seeing his, like when I first started off getting into the Instagram world, I'm just like, oh my God, this New York firefighter has like 15,000 followers,
Yeah.
But yeah, he's great. He does like a lot of the firehouse cooking style meals, right? And posts what a lot of other firefighters are making too, right? So I mean, for firefighters that, people that are like, hey, I don't know what to cook, like check out pages like that.
Yeah.
For sure, right?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's one of the other things we wanted to talk to you about, is like how can like new firefighters, or even like people who want to become firefighters, how can like they improve their cooking skills? Like if that's something that they really want to get into or whatever, like what's the easiest way to start to improve in that?
I'd say think about what you like.
Right.
Cook what you like, cook what you want to eat at home, not something that you just want to make and take a picture of and post it and chuck it out kind of thing, right? Like think about what you love to eat growing up, right? You the Italian family, right? Like your pasta. So think about like grab a couple staples.
Yeah.
And just work on them.
Yeah.
Right. Go check out some Instagram pages, some TikTok pages of chefs that you like, right? Of food pages that you like, and that's it, right? Like just get a couple staples under your belt, and
Yeah.
I think it's so accessible these days.
I was just about to say that, like, it's so different now, like with Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Like, you can really find stuff that you like and then like learn from those types of people, right? Whereas when you were coming up in this, like, you were just kind of figuring it out, right? Like seeing what works, what doesn't work, right? So
I'm not that old.
You should hear Damo. I'm like, what, 4 years older than him, and he just treats me like a geriatric.
Yeah.
So don't feel too bad.
Grandpa Boris.
Yeah, I think he's sitting on a donut right now, isn't he?
It hurts to talk.
Yeah.
What's your favorite fire hall meal?
My favorite fire hall meal. I love that like Moroccan theme. I love it. I love the hummus. I like Mediterranean, like the hybrid, right? Like I love the hummus. I love the tzatziki, the heavily spiced, like chicken or beef, or like I really love that. That style.
So tasty.
Yeah.
Nice.
What would you say is the worst fire hall meal you've ever made?
I definitely have that. I was in my second six probation, and this is when we start, you start to cook, right?
Yeah.
Like now you're a little more part of the family, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make some steaks for the crew. And I remember absolutely just burning the shit out of these, right? Like you get sent to the butcher. They're like, okay, this is where you're gonna go shop for your steaks here.
Yeah.
You're gonna go here and grab your produce here, and you're gonna do this. I'm like, okay, yeah, I got it, guys. Like, no problem. Like, you can count on me. and I go and I just remember just like absolutely like it looked like the soles of the Bluntstone boots that that all the firefighters wear, right? Like part of their uniform. Like it was like they were so bad. But it was just the one side that was like completely charred.
Yeah.
So when I plated them like on the platter, it was like I turned them over.
Smart.
Turn them over and just like, what? Hey guys, I decided to throw some barbecue sauce on it for you. Like I pre-sauced it for you guys, right? And it was just, and you could see it, in going back to that, I guess a lot of references from National Lampoon's Vacation. It was like, when the turkey explodes.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, just like, right. But it was just like, it didn't puff out smoke, but it was just like. You couldn't
just like leather, eh?
Yeah, it was like trying to like cut through a lacrosse ball.
Did anyone bring a recip saw to cut it off?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
Get the K12
out. There was a lot of like, it was pretty quiet, and a lot of people just like, oh, hey, great work, kid. Thanks for dinner. Like, thanks.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What's been your favorite part about being a firefighter? Like, what do you enjoy the most about this job?
Oh, like listen to what we're talking about right now. There's just there's so many good things about the job. I've never woken up and have said I don't want to go to work today.
Yeah.
I love the job. I love the crews that I've been able to work with.
Yeah.
It's like the camaraderie is just like it really is like a second family at times.
Yeah.
Right? Like not without, it's got ups and downs for sure, right?
Yeah.
But it's indescribable to, I don't know how you feel, but it's hard for me to describe to my friends that aren't part of it.
Totally.
Like, what it's.
Yeah. I mean, the best way that I can describe it is like just it's one big family, right? Like, you sit down with your crew and it's like hanging out with your cousins, right? Like for me at least, it's it is very hard to describe for sure to people who aren't in this job and they don't really know, other than just saying it's the best job in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that high trust society, like a family, right? You can just give your, another crewmate your car keys or credit card. Like, hey, can you
hold on to this? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not going to take your stuff.
Yeah. It's just, we take that for granted. I think a lot.
Absolutely.
Of times. So
Yeah.
I know some guys that have they've gone the firefighter route and then they canceled it and then they went into trades or something else. They're like, wow, I miss that. I miss that family and just being able to trust everyone around you. And
totally. It's so different. Yeah. Well, Mike, we appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Yeah.
If people want to look at your recipes and stuff like that, what's your Instagram so people can find you?
Yeah, if you want to check out what's going on, Varga Cooks on Instagram.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Yeah.
Any future endeavors like Master Chef, Chopped?
I'm not actively pursuing. You never know what's going to happen.
Hey.
Nice.
Scouts on
you have a bit of an acting career though. We should probably talk about that before we end, because how'd you get into that? Because you're on some TV show coming up or something, right?
Okay, so I was in a film.
Okay.
And it's fine. It's not. This sounds like it's going to be sketchy right off the bat. Like,
yeah.
I was in this. Yeah.
Francesco, cut it.
Yeah. This is the point where you want to get your take your kids out of the room.
Yeah.
I got an agent after the shows, and I've done a handful of small things, and and then she messaged me and said, hey, there's a part in a film. You have some lines, like, do you, like, this is it, are you available to do it? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'm in. So go in and film it, and it's very new to me. Like, this is the first time I'm trying to, like, fake that I'm like, oh yeah, I've been on set a million times, right?
Yeah.
Right. There's all these like actors like practicing lines with each other and like getting into character, and I'm just like walking around. So it turns out that it was like a film made for like an Asian platform. Okay. So it's not really shown here. It's more shown in Asia.
Okay.
And I think that these are very, they're called vertical films.
Oh, okay.
And they're very big for like an Asian audience.
Okay.
And so when it came out, and I asked my agent, I'm like, so can I get a copy of this? And she's like, well, I can't really get it for you because it's not available here.
Right.
Kind of. So I'm piecing it together, and it's just think about like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
But my sister calls it Hallmart.
Hallmark.
Hallmark, like it's just like a little bit, not quite there. So, but it was, it was such a blast. It was a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
nice, dude.
Yeah, it was a great spot to kind of like wet my toes a little bit.
Yeah. Because I remember, I think you posted on maybe your Instagram or something, and like the character that you play is like the opposite of you. I felt like because there was like you and like another guy, and you guys were chefs in it, right? Is that
yes,
correct?
Yeah. I was completely unrelated. Like they didn't know that I had a cooking background.
Oh, really?
I got cast for this. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No way. You just sneak off and like cook a bunch of stuff for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like it was like some girl chef that you guys were talking to, and it was pretty funny, man.
Yeah, it was. I think I was doing a lot of yelling.
Yeah.
At this one chef who, like, she was the main character and was made to look like she was the bad person, but really she was the good person.
Right.
And but I was opposed to her coming into this restaurant where I was working.
Yeah.
And sort of taking over. So I think a lot of my lines were just me yelling at her.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty funny, man. It was cool to see that though, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No Golden Globes are on the way for me.
Yet. Yeah. So far. Never say never, buddy. You never know. Hey, if you do become famous, just don't forget about us, okay?
Yeah.
Make sure you promote this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have any like advice that you would give to someone trying to become a firefighter? Like what's one piece that you would like to leave for someone?
If this is something you want to do, if you want to be a firefighter, it is absolutely worth it to give it your all. It's not easy to become a firefighter.
Yeah.
The tests and that you have to take and the exams, and you sit in this room and there's 500 other people writing an exam for 12 spots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep persevering. It is absolutely worth it once you get to that finish line and get on.
Yeah.
do everything you can to stand out from
candidates.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's great advice.
Yeah, just don't give up on it, because it is worth it.
So we have just created our Patreon program, and it's online. We'll put a link in the description of this episode. It's got all our freebies on there. So it's got resume templates, the interview checklist,
the competitive edge checklist.
Yeah, competitive edge checklist.
And we're also going to be diving into more in-depth interview episodes and hiring process stuff. And we're going to be posting it on there. It really does help us out, because then we're able to pay Francesco for producing this podcast. If it wasn't for him, we'd be hooped.
You guys missed the part where we were just trying to turn this microphone on before this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we wouldn't be anywhere without him. So we'd like to start paying him a lot more.
And it's also going to be a way for us to just upgrade to better audio equipment, better cameras, better lighting, and all that kind of stuff to bring you guys a better experience with this podcast.
Yeah, and that was your idea, actually, Damo, with the whole going over every interview question kind of in depth and really getting into the interview panel stuff.
Yeah, we'll be going into that in really great detail, really breaking apart the questions and just talking about like what they're actually asking in these questions, right? And yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of info, a lot of really, really good info.
And if it's not, let us know. We also have a chat group in there as well on Patreon.
That's right.
So if there's, guests you want us to see, bring on, or if there's questions you want us to ask or talk about on the podcast, you're more than welcome to ask us on there.
Yeah, for sure. And like when it comes to those behavioral / situational type questions, we can break down a question and talk about it for probably half an hour. Yeah. Right. Just one question.
Easily.
So there's going to be a lot of really good info on that. And like we said, it's going to really help support the podcast so we can upgrade better equipment and also keep Francesco around so that way there is a podcast.
Chaining him down to the table would be too cruel.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah, we really appreciate you coming on, dude.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
It's awesome to have you on here, and yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having me, boys. This was fantastic.